Let's start with the baby formula recall. What do consumers need to know out there?
Well, it's very, very heartbreaking when a food that's a sole source of nutrition for a vulnerable baby is contaminated. People need to know that if they have this brand of formula, it's called ByHeart, that they should discard it. And they should also, if their baby has been consuming it, watch your baby for the symptoms of botulism. There's a lot of information on the web, and I can give you some more, Adam,
Mm.
if people need to know. But it is very, very upsetting.
Sandra, you bring up the term botulism. Could you explain exactly what that is?
Sure, there are many different types of pathogens, bacteria, viruses that are all over the place, including in our food. Botulism, in this case, it's a particular type. What happens in this scenario is that the pathogen creates a spore that's consumed and then emits a toxin. And that toxin is what causes damage, hopefully temporarily, to anyone who ingests a spore. So it's serious.
It sounds absolutely horrific. I know on the bottom line there, we have some symptoms of botulism. Can you just kind of go more in depth, Sandra? Maybe there's some mothers and fathers out there that are concerned and they're wondering, hopefully my child doesn't have this. What are some symptoms out there to look for?
Again, you've highlighted the key ones. Think of it this way. Again, this toxin attacks the nervous system. So any movement, any responsiveness that your baby is showing that's not normal, and again, they've consumed in particular perhaps this formula, it's important to seek medical help right away. So again, it's everything from what you've shown, Adam, to sagging of the face, listlessness, things that just illustrate that your baby is not responding normally.
And Sandra, when you say seek medical attention right away, are you talking about, hey, go schedule an appointment with your pediatrician, or are you like, hey, we need to call 911?
Get to the emergency room. I mean, you can certainly consult with your pediatrician, depending on when you feel like those symptoms began. But it is a serious condition which requires serious attention.
And just to put a loop on all this is products made by ByHeart, is that correct?
Yes, it is a small, relatively new powdered infant formula company, represents about 1% of the market. They have recalled all of the production, not just the batches that the FDA investigators believe might be contaminated, but everything, which is exactly the responsible thing to do.
And where can people find a list as it pertains to infant formula of all the recalled products? I'm sure that ByHeart probably isn't the only one. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Well, you're not wrong looking over a course of time, Adam. There have been numerous recalls and outbreaks linked to infant formula, most recently a few years ago with big manufacturers. It was terrible because supplies understandably shrunk when we were having issues. But as far as this particular outbreak and recall, go to the FDA website. They've listed the picture of the product, if you're not sure it's the one that you have in your house and you fed your child, and all the code numbers. But again, doing the right thing, the company has recalled all of the products that have been in the market.
Sandra Eskin, the CEO of Stop Foodborne Illness. Sandra, let's move on to the frozen pre-cooked pasta. I understand that there's a listeria risk. I don't really know exactly what listeria is, and I do want to get to that. But I want to get back to the actual product, this frozen pre-cooked pasta. This is not the breaking of the dry pasta that you put in boiling water, right? Is this like, they have those dishes that you kind of poke the holes in and it goes in the microwave for 2 minutes? Is this what we're talking about?
Yes, and they generally are sold ready to eat, Adam, and of course they can be frozen. Here's the challenge. So often we like to have convenience, and these products, these meals are very convenient. However, when you have a problem with one of the ingredients, again, if you look at the recall information, it's linguine, fettuccine, all of these pasta products made, and they have been used in a wide range of products, sold at a wide range of retailers. The minute you have particular ingredients potentially contaminated, you have this type of very, very broad recall. Years ago, there was a problem with peanut paste that was produced by one company, the Peanut Corporation of America. It was used in thousands of products, granola bars, cookies, ice cream. And again, that's what's particularly challenging here. And of course, what often happens too is you don't realize until a problem arises how widespread it actually might be.
Yeah, are there specific brands that have been affected by this pasta recall here? I know we talked about ByHeart with the baby formula.
Yes.
Is it a specific brand that we should be looking at here?
It's a wide range. Again, they're used in ready-to-eat meals. They've used in some deli salads at some retailers. Again, your listeners should go to fda.gov and search for listeria, search for recalls, search for pasta, and it lists all the companies that are recalling their products made with these potentially contaminated pasta.
Sandra, you bring up the term listeria. I think there's a lot of people at home that don't know what it is. I'm one of those people that doesn't know exactly what it is. What exactly is listeria?
It's a pathogen like Salmonella, E. coli. The problem with listeria, well, these are all problems, but the challenges can be number one, it can take weeks until you get sick. I think most of us assume if we have some tummy trouble, oh, it must have been something in the food I just ate. But that is not the case with listeria. It can be a number of weeks. Number one. Number two, this particular pathogen is very serious for vulnerable populations, older people, pregnant women. It can cause stillbirth and miscarriage, and children. And certainly the hospitalization rate among older people like myself is about 50%. So it's a serious infection. And unfortunately, we've seen it over the years in more and more products. Certain pathogens, certain bacteria do well in certain environments. It's wet, it's dry, it's certain types of products. And what we're seeing is these bacteria are really smart and they want to survive. So they mutate and they all of a sudden can be in any food, it feels like, but we're certainly seeing it in certain pathogens in certain foods.
Grace, our producer, is putting up the symptoms of listeria there on the bottom line. I asked you the symptoms about botulism earlier. Can you just walk us through some of these symptoms if you think that you're experiencing listeria? And like you said, this is different than, your average, tummy ache after, maybe eating something that didn't necessarily agree with you. What should we be looking for if we think that we maybe have listeria?
Sure. I'm going to thank your producer for helping me out here. So things that you would normally associate with like a flu, right? Fever, muscle ache, nausea, headache, stiff neck. But certain of these symptoms, like, for example, stiff neck, is something you don't always see. So it's always a judgment call, but if you're feeling really poorly, call your doctor, go to the emergency room. Better safe than sorry. Unfortunately, in many instances, because the symptoms for a foodborne illness can be similar to other viruses and stuff, sometimes medical professionals get it wrong. So again, err on the side of being perhaps a little over concerned. If you have any of these symptoms, again, listeria is a very serious bacteria, foodborne illness.
Sandra, you're the CEO of Stop Foodborne Illness. While we have you here, can you just tell us maybe some common things that you see in people's homes, or some stories that you hear of ways that food can become easily contaminated, and we don't even necessarily know it just in our own homes?
That's a great question. Let me start with the situation where so often the food enters your house contaminated, whether it's these, pre-cooked noodles or infant formula, right? So I think one of the things you have to be very careful about is assume that you should be doing everything you can to minimize any potential contamination in a food. What that means is we talk about hand washing, really important before, during, after food prep. We talk about making sure that you cook food thoroughly. Use a meat thermometer. It just can't look done, it has to be done. But to your point, Adam, separate what you use, cutting boards, utensils, knives, what you use on raw meat and poultry, and what you use on other foods. The key here is you want to limit any cross contamination. You cut up some chicken and you use the same cutting board to cut up produce for a salad. If the chicken's contaminated, then the salad is, and you're not going to cook the salad, right? Cooking thoroughly will kill most, if not all, contamination. Very common sense. Very many people do this anyway. But be mindful, every time you go into your kitchen, cooking is fun, eating is more fun, but getting sick is not fun.
Those are good words of wisdom to live by. You just said there, sometimes you walk into your house and your food is already contaminated. In the instance of this baby formula, in the instance of this frozen pre-cooked pasta, how does the food become contaminated? Is it something with these companies, machines that they're using to mass produce it? Like, how does that happen?
Great question. It can happen any way possible. Let's look at a baby formula, right? Or any food. You have multiple ingredients. If your ingredient comes from something that's a produce item or whatever, it could be contaminated pre-processing, right? It was in the ground, the water was contaminated, the fertilizer was contaminated, whatever. So you have to understand that that's one clear route of contamination. Some contaminants are eliminated in processing, if, sometimes. The other thing to keep in mind is companies work very hard to keep the facilities clean, as you noted, the equipment, the floors, the drains, the ceilings. But pathogens, let's look at listeria, love wet, cold environments. And the minute somehow listeria enters a facility, it easily becomes resident and it's very hard to get rid of. So again, it's the ingredients that go into products and it's the facilities where they are made. For that matter, it could be the truck that transports it, or it could be in the supermarket where it is sold. Again, everyone, including consumers, have an important role to play in making sure food is safe. It starts with the companies that produce the food.
Sandra, the CEO of Stop Foodborne Illness, what got you into this line of work? Clearly, you have a real passion and a thorough, expansive knowledge of it. What got you interested in this?
I'm a lawyer by training. I realized early on that I was very interested in consumer protection. That's everything from financial services to cars to products and to food. And I'm going to quote one of my colleagues. Why do I work on food policy and food safety policy? Because everybody eats. It impacts everyone, number one. And number two, I do believe, I'm a lawyer by training, that I said it's the companies that make the food that are primarily responsible. But everybody would agree, I've seen this in poll after poll, that government has an important role to play in ensuring that those companies are doing what they need to do. So it was a practical, this is something that impacts everyone. And I will say one other thing, that I was working on other issues in 1993 when there was a major outbreak of this horrible E. coli linked to undercooked hamburgers in the Pacific Northwest, and 4 children died. And that was a wake-up call for so many people in industry and government that foodborne illness isn't just a tummy ache. So that really, really inspired me to say, you know what? I want to be part of this conversation. I want to make sure that everybody is doing what they need to do to ensure safe food.
We love it. Listen, everybody at home, you can find a list of recalled products. Again, quote me if I'm wrong here, Sandra, FDA.gov. You see it there. Grace just put it up on the bottom line. And then to learn more about your organization, Stop Foodborne Illness, Sandra, where can people go?
They can go to our website, www.stopfoodborneillness.org. The organization was started and continues to be driven by families who have experienced severe foodborne illness. Their goal is to make sure that no other family needs to suffer what they have suffered. It's an inspiration to me every day I go to work.
And the work that you're doing is very inspiring. You left us with a very inspirational quote. I think it's a good way to close this interview. What did you say? Cooking is fun. What? Finish it for me here.
Eating is even more fun, but getting sick is not. Yeah. I probably should add cleaning up the dishes may not be fun, but we know it has to be done. But yeah, it is just, there is so much more we can do to prevent these illnesses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sandra Eskin, the CEO of Stop Foodborne Illness. Sandra, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Adam, thanks for having me. And don't forget to use your meat thermometer in your Thanksgiving turkey.
Even if you like your steak rare, still use that meat thermometer, right?
Well, yeah, but I won't say anything about the rare steak, but I will say for sure you should use it. Sure.
No doubt. Sandra, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. What a great conversation there, and a very important conversation about learning about foodborne illnesses and being aware of baby formula products that are contaminated, frozen pre-cooked pasta dishes that are contaminated. As Sandra Eskin just said very eloquently there, you can go to FDA.gov and find the list of all the recalled products that are out there in the United States, just to be sure that you have clean, non-contaminated products in your home and you are cooking with things that you can trust and things that are not going to get you or your family sick.